How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for this video, I'm sitting in the new Hyundai Veloster N. So this is a hot car because I drove the Hyundai Veloster, the Turbo Ultimate, and if you're interested in that video review, please click the link up here. But this is the hotter version of that. So this has a 2-liter inline 4 with a turbocharger, and this makes 275 horsepower. So I'll show you all the specs about this car right below, but let's go take this for a quick drive, and I'll let you know what I think about the motor, the handling, and everything else that's inside. So let's go for a drive. So of course this has the 6-speed manual transmission, and there't a checkered flag button here. This is the N mode button. It makes all sorts of sounds when you do that. It makes machine gun fire sound out the back, and it's glorious. Love that. So when you hit the N button, obviously there's different drive modes here. There's a sport, there's a normal, there's an eco mode in this car, which is awesome. So if you don't feel like burning a lot of gas, put yourself into eco mode. But the mode that we care about here is, of course, the N mode, and what that does is that it allows you to have a more aggressive tuning for the engine, the exhaust, presumably the suspension as well. I'm not really sure if this has adaptive suspension or not, but this does have an electric LSD out in the front. So of course, this being a front-wheel drive. But this also has a rev. There's a word that says rev on there. That means that it will rev match for you. So I'm downshifting from 5th to 4th, and it rev matches for me, which is pretty cool. And you know, of course, technology like that has been around in a lot of manual transmission cars, kind of like the 370Z. So we're about to get on the highway here. Let's see how let's downshift. And there again, there's that downshifting, rev matching. This has a lot of low-end grunt, which is awesome. And what I also like about this, first of all, the gauge cluster is beautiful. It's very simple to look at. It's more old school, but there's like the shift light at the very top in the middle, and it shows you when to shift. And that's kind of cool. That's like a Formula One race technology. Not really. Of course, everyone wants to buy a GTI, right? The Volkswagen GTI is a pretty nice car, inside and out. Performance is great. You got that limited slip differential. So this one tries to kind of match the hardware that you get in the tried and true hot hatch. So, but I can tell you right now, just immediately upon like 5 minutes of driving this car, that this feels pretty awesome. The suspension, the handling feels pretty tight, and like the steering wheel, it's fairly heavy. It's very German feeling, actually. And I want to see if that changes with depending on the drive mode. If I go to, say, like eco, feels like the steering damping is a little bit lighter, and if I switch back to N, I do feel like it kind of stiffen up a little bit. And you know, you definitely want that stiffer steering damping when you drive a bit more aggressively. Let's give this the proper acceleration. Maybe we can hear it. Love that. Man, the acceleration is really nice in this car. Let's talk about the interior real quick, because you know, this feels like any other Hyundai, and that's the beautiful thing about Hyundai, is that I think the interior choices have become more upscale. Hyundais aren't really like known for the old Hyundais in like the early 2000s where the interior is kind of crap. But in here, it's more upscale, it's more ergonomic, and I personally drive a Hyundai myself, a Hyundai Tucson, a 2017 model, and I sort of feel at home here because the quality of the buttons, the leathers, it's kind of like on par with my Hyundai. But again, this isn't a BMW, of course, so like don't expect the leathers to be like the really nice upscale leather that you find in BMWs or like higher end luxury cars. But for a normal commuter car, this is perfect. And just some examples: the shift boot, you know, even though it is leather, it looks like it can tear very quickly. But again, nitpicking when you're buying a hot hatch like the Veloster N. Of course, visibility is very good here. I like the greenhouse. I could see everything, and you know, the hood isn't bulging out or anything like that, so I could easily park this car. Of course, this car is fairly tiny. You know, those are the same characteristics that you find in like the Volkswagen GTI, you know, the Subaru BRZ or the Toyota 86, and a lot of similar cars like that. Let's take the off-ramp here. It's grippy. It's got grippy tires. It's got those pops again. I will say that the suspension here, as you can tell from me bouncing up and down, is pretty stiff. And you want that in a hot hatch, of course. I could see this living very happily in like an autocross event or track days, because you know, this is a nice lightweight car, a lot of power for the weight. I think it just accelerates really nicely, and best of all, you could easily drive this car home from those track events, autocross events. And that's kind of like the best part of owning a car like this, is that this could be your grocery hauler, and on the weekends you could just take it to your local autocross and have some fun with it. Learn car control. What more could you ask for? And of course, this has a Hyundai price, and you can't beat that. And if you asked me, between this and the Volkswagen GTI, I think I'd take this 4 out of the 5 times, actually. The Volkswagen has an interior that I prefer. Visually, it looks a lot better. It's more simple, it's more straightforward, you know, it's more German. Whereas in here, it's just different. It's different tastes. And as far as looks, again, I don't really like to comment on the looks of cars because you have eyeballs and you have your own opinions, but personally, I like the look of this car. I like the proportions of it. You know, this is a 4-door, actually, 3 doors, 1 on the left, 2 on the right, and 1 hatch. And you know, Volkswagen GTIs, they don't come in the 3-door trim anymore, which is a real shame, because that is the best looking proportions for a hot hatch, in my opinion. But in here, you could kind of get half of that. You get the 1 door on the side, and it looks pretty unique, but it's very functional because we drive on the right-hand side, the curb's on the right-hand side, so it makes sense. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up right there because this is just a quick drive. I want to thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. Please let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree with my assessment? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you learned something from this video, if you're entertained somewhat, please consider giving it a like, hitting that subscribe button, and also hitting that notification bell so you can get notified anytime we make a new video. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up right there. My name is Hanson. This is the 2019 Hyundai Veloster N, and I'll see you next time.